Hey, what's going on, guys? Things are a little different. We've decorated the apartment for Halloween. We're doing some Halloween streams this week. What's going on? Today's video is going to be, um, that's my dog. It's a spider with eyes blinking. Anyways, today's video is going to be looking at Warlock. This week's alpha changes to hit midnight. This is the last week of midnight alpha. At least it's like planned in the roadmap. Now we're not sure if beta's coming out next week, which is going to give access to everybody that ordered Epic Edition of the game, or if it's going to be a few weeks of alpha still with like not as much content coming in. Not really sure, but there were some changes today. More so like I guess just only changes like updates to Warlock today. So we're gonna look at that briefly. Not a whole lot, but I do want to talk about it and then, go from there. Also, I'm jumping in mid-video. Please like and sub. We are less than 4,000 subs away from 100k in the channel, and it would be insane if we hit that. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for all support. There. I'm a little off-center here because the camera being moved for the Halloween stuff. It is what it is. You gotta deal with it. I'm sorry. Either way, so the Warlock Tier Sets were spoiled today. Now, as a general note, it looks like most classes have pretty basic tier sets. I mean, there's some things that do proc. Like you gain clear casting from Omen of Clarity and things, I guess. Most of them are just like, hey, straight up like damage increases. Keg Smash increase, Breath of Fire increase. Some things do some other effects, like Keg Smash's energy cost reduced by 5. When it strikes a target afflicted by Breath of Fire, it deals additional damage. Some things have a bit more depth to them tier set wise. Some are just like, hey, it does damage. It does damage. Warlock probably has some of the most generic ones of any class that I've seen, even though most of them are pretty empty. UA and Seed, 10%. Agony, this is pretty much irrelevant. Agony, 20%. This is a decent bit of damage to Agony, but I mean, UA, Seed, 10. 4-piece Agony, 20. Demonology, Hand Gul'dan, 15%. Dogs, 10%. They last, so when it comes to the Demonology tier set, dogs last 3 seconds longer, which means you're going to be getting your cores coming in a bit later. Now, it would, I guess, I mean, you could say it makes Tyrant setup a bit easier, theoretically. I mean, realistically, there's not much setup in Tyrant anymore with it being an imp cap and things in midnight, but regardless, dogs will last 3 seconds longer. Vile Fiend's not affected by this because it lasts, basically, Vile Fiend's tied to your dogs, but there's no Vile Fiend interaction here. And if you're curious about the interaction with, like, Demonology and its Apex talent, the Greater Dreadstalker, I don't believe there's any interaction there either. And that is because the greater dog, basically, whenever you cast your dog's baseline, they're going to last 15 seconds now, instead of 12 with your tier set. The greater dog lasts half a minute. So you're only going to have one greater one active at a time, but the duration is refresh when resummoned. So basically, no like impact to your Apex talent here. It's just straight up, hey, Dreadstalkers themselves do indeed last 15. Not 12. So, like, they're going to do more damage. There's a higher chance for them to rechomp through... honestly, it's called the Shadow's Gone, or if it's called... what is it called? The one that has them rechomp. Here it is. Carnivorous Stalkers. There you go. There you go. I guess there's a bigger chance for Carnivorous to be a thing again and all that. But, I mean, yeah, either way. There's that. Additional chances, I guess. Longer duration. You know what I'm saying. Oh, yeah. Ritual Summoning got a new icon. Actually sort of cool. It looks the same though. The portal does. Nothing else changed there. And no, gateway did not change to the new one in the dungeon either. But yeah, that's that. So dogs last a bit longer. Hand Gul'dan damage increased by 15%. So we can't test these in game currently. They're just been spoiled or whatever. This does not affect Eye of Gul'dan. Or at least, I mean, we need to add a clause this where it does affect Eye of Gul'dan, or add Eye of Gul'dan to, like, the list of affected spells. Because, like, currently, the way Demonology plays, where the dummy's at, I think they're over here somewhere. I'm lost in the city. Here. The way Demonology plays, we're gonna look at nameplates in a minute here too, because holy moly. Is basically like whenever you summon your 9 imps, you're going to have your Hand of Gul'dan transform into Eye of Gul'dan, which is no longer Hand of Gul'dan. There's 3 imps there. There's 6 imps basically here with this Hand of Gul'dan. These imps last 40 seconds regardless. Here's Hand of Gul'dan, and there's Eye of Gul'dan. So this tier set likely needs to have Eye of Gul'dan added to it, because we only really cast 3 Hand of Gul'dans every minute in single target. So, probably needs to be added there. Wouldn't mind it more thematics to Eye of Gul'dan in the first place. Maybe like some cleave and AoE, something like that. But either way, there's that. And once again, the core is coming in a bit later from dogs, but bit of a bonus, I guess. Destro has Chaos Bolt Rain of Fire increase by 5%. Once again, I mean, not pretty much nothing. These are all like tuning knobs. I'm sure you can turn up or down based on how much you need to buff or nerf things. I'd assume this probably gets buffed. 5 is pretty low. And the 4-piece, the Destro 4-piece is the only one you're gonna feel probably. So conflict rate generates two additional soul shard fragments, and its damage is increased by 10. So out of all these, the only thing you're gonna really feel with the tier sets for any of these is going to be Destro's 4 set. I mean, you'll feel the cores coming in later for Demonology, but whatever. UA and C, like, not going to feel. Realistically, not really going to feel this once you get used to it. Not going to feel, and I mean, yeah. But conflict rate will generate 0.7 shards up from 0.5, or basically 1.4 in Havoc Cleave, I would assume, up from 1, right, without this being on here, right? So yeah. Basically that. These are not testable in game. This is like the final build of Alpha, like the major one at least. So level 90 is testable with all the zones and everything, but there's no templates for 90 at this point. You have to level, and I'm not doing that at 2 in the morning. This build was pushed very late. But regardless, that is that. Now, I do want to briefly look at nameplates and the cooldown manager in this build, looking at mostly Affliction here, because things have changed a little bit with nameplates this week. How am I in combat? I'm literally over here AFK, man. Welcome to Demonology Dummy Testing. Things have changed a little bit this week with nameplates compared to like the last few weeks. They're still jumping over the place and still like the stacking. Dude, how am I in combat, man? The stacking part, I'm just gonna relog. It's fine. The stacking part of nameplates is still an issue where they're like jumping all over the place. There were some CVARs that were accessible before, mainly being like the amount of space that you have between like the top of your screen and the nameplate you have targeted. That won't be, it won't be pushed higher than a certain like part of your screen at the top. That's sort of causing it to be an issue from what I understand. All that, those CVARs aren't accessible anymore. I don't think they're going to be, but the stacking part of it can be fixed regardless still. And that and one other thing is of large concern to me. So today we actually ended up downloading Plater and Platynator. Now, I don't know who writes Plater or Platynator. They're awesome people, way smarter than me. I can't write add-ons, all that. So please, if you're watching this video and you're that person or whatever, love you. I might say something wrong here based on what I've seen in the add-ons. I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm just testing it out. I was told there's a new version of Plater pushed for 12.0, like an alpha version. So we grabbed it today. And we're trying out both of those. Now, these are like actual default nameplates right here, right? These are the ones that Blizzard has in game. They're jumping all over the place. Now, they've added some more functionality and customization to these today. So if you go in the nameplates here, they've added like a size buff, debuff slider, I think. I don't know if this is here before exactly. It's new styles like modern, default, thin, cast, focus, and block. I like modern the most, but it's whatever. Not a whole lot else has changed. They've reduced like the actual size of the name of the mob basically. Before it was like you'd see like CLEAV and massive text. You couldn't see the name at all anymore. Really long names, if you have like percent and raw like health threshold turned on, like enabled, you still can't see them all. But if I go in here and I turn off like percent, or once again like their raw amount of health, like if I go in here and disable this, like just health value, you see more. Right? If I turn off percent, you just see that, obviously, right? So if I turn on all this and rarity icon, doesn't do anything because, you know, it'll be over here. But regardless, though, you can see the majority of the name. Now, with Plater and things, there was scripting in the past where you could just make it so you could see, like, the last part of the mob's name, like Eldrachi Reaver, Eldrachi Caster. You just see, like, Reaver, you see Caster. You wouldn't see Eldrachi or whatever it's called, right? That functionality, not around anymore. But if you look at like default dot tracking on nameplates, I actually don't mind it very much. So like, I don't know what mob this is. This is that one right there. Cool. Now I jumped over there. The main issue with me with these nameplates is there's two things. The jumping of nameplates, this is unacceptable. I'm sure Blizz knows that. This is like wild. And this, I would assume Blizz probably wants to fix this before beta goes open for testing. Maybe I'm wrong, but this is like not going to work, obviously. This is unacceptable. It'll be fixed at some point. But there's that, and there's the fact that with Plater, I forgot what it's called, but there's an option that allows you to basically say, if I click around a certain radius of this nameplate, it will select the nameplate. Like for example, if I have Plater enabled on retail right now, and I go to click this mob, if I click right here, it'll select this nameplate. I have to be like, lock in, direct center, click, select this nameplate. Brother, I can't do this with this being a thing. There's no chance anybody can do that with this being a thing, with these jumping nameplates. Like adding that functionality into like default nameplates would be really, really, really good for everybody, especially multi-dollars and things. Like it is basically Aim Labs Simulator. Go play Aim Labs if you want to like multi-dot and click nameplates in War Within or Midnight. It's like it is like a mess. It's like the jumping nameplates and like the having like the hidden, like I guess expanded aura to click nameplates is actually really nice, and as a functionality of Plater I like a lot. So I actually grabbed Plater. I grabbed Platynator and Plater today. So now a lot of Plater functionality is not working. I don't think they've taken out what's broken and stuff. Like for example, if I pull up Plater here and go into like scripting, if I even click scripting or like buff tracking, it just like breaks the game. It's not trackable, can't use it anymore. It created errors the game. It's whatever. What is customizable in Plater though, at least what I've seen still, is, and this could be wrong, I don't know what's working and not working, the rules of it all, but I want to look at this briefly, is like the customization of a lot of things on nameplates. So for example, like target, right? How did we do this earlier? It wasn't target, it was, yeah, enemy NPC, right? So as far as like, let's see here, health bar out of combat, health bar in combat. In combat, obviously not changing here, I'm not in combat, but out of combat. Still adjust the slider a bit here, smaller, larger, all that. You can adjust the width, adjust the height of these with Plater. As far as like NPC name text, right here, you can position this to be on the bottom. On the top, you can put it, there's top, you can put it on the right. I don't know why you want to do that, whatever. You can put it in various positions. You can change the X and Y offsets here. So for example, this is on the top, right there. I can move this slider and it will move this left, right, up or down if you want like exact positioning here. Typically I just have it on the center like we do normally with the shaking is a quest. I'm sorry, I hate it too. Typically I just center it with like, you know, no offset. It usually works the best, and or keep it to the right or left, but whatever. Either way, there's that. You can also adjust health values. It's somewhere in here. Health information, yeah, here, enabled. You can make the size larger, smaller, whatever you want. Out of combat, percent health if you want it. If you don't want health amount, if you want it decimals, if you want it, if you don't, obviously can't see it here, but there's that with XY offset. So this all does still seem customizable. Now, one of the things about changing the colors of nameplates, I thought this was something that we could do, that Blizzard said, but apparently not the case. So for like mobs that are casters and M+ and all that, that functionality does not seem to be working in follower dungeons. Or, well, I'm testing them here right now. I went in and saw some mobs here, changed the color of the nameplates. Basically, if I enter a follower dungeon or any dungeon, whatever, right? The mobs initially have the color of whatever I set here, but when I enter combat, they retain the color of whatever I chose here. However, if that mob's nameplate goes off my screen, like if this is right here, and I turn my back, whatever, and it goes off my screen, if I can't, like this mob here, and I can't see it anymore, and then I turn back to the mob, the color of that nameplate is back to being red, or the default color, because the game tries, I guess like Plate or whatever, tries to check what the NPC ID is, and we're in combat. That information is hidden. So TLDR, changing the color of nameplates is essentially broken. I think like in follower dungeons, it doesn't really count as being like in combat, or I guess instance content until you're in combat. Apparently M+, the moment you throw a key in, it counts. So it looks to be broken. Unfortunately, it is what it is, and all that. Now, the bigger thing with Plater and Platynator, look at it in a minute here as well, is dot tracking. And I don't know how to update this. There's a bug on alpha with seeing other people's nameplate or other people's debuffs. This is Chaos Brand from this guy. I don't know why it's here, but from what I understand, dot tracking, in combat is hidden. So, for example, I'm going to put up Agony here and watch what happens with Plater. So, this is like, I guess this is Plater trying to like calculate Agony's remaining duration, like internally. I don't know, but either way, like the information on the exact Agony duration is hidden in combat. Now, I'll refresh this. I'm going to leave it up here. I'm going to run away. It's fine. I'm going to run away. The dot will stay active, but I'm going to leave combat whenever this, okay, I left combat. Coming back. Now I'm out of combat. The information is not hidden anymore, and there's Agony, because Plater can check, okay, we're not in combat, the information is not hidden. Watch me reapply Agony, it's broken again. So I don't know, and this is the case for both Plater and Platynator, which we'll look at in a minute here. I don't know if there's a way or functionality or some way to like tell. I don't know if Plater can like use their own like, if you can use the customization options of Plater for like, changing like the way nameplates look and how they function and all that stuff with like text and positioning and all that, but use the default dot tracking. I don't know. Maybe there is. I have no idea. I'm not smart enough for that. There's a decent bit of customization left for Plater and things though. But unfortunately, as far as like the jumping nameplates here, this CVAR is locked from what I understand. We can't adjust this. This is a Blizz thing they have to fix. As far as like the dot tracking, like we saw right there, you can't track dots with Plater. It has to be Blizzard's default tracking. However, one really cool thing about Plater is that under the advanced section here, that aura of clicking we talked about is right here. Enemy and friendly box selection space. I'm in combat. Let me leave this way fast. It shows that it's locked with a lock here. It says I'm in combat. If I leave combat, I love dummy testing. If I leave combat here, see how it unlocks, and it says the width of the R area. Okay, the width of the area which accepts mouse clicks to select the target, width and height. This needs to be implemented into Blizzard default nameplates so badly because it makes clicking them so much easier. This is by default enabled in Plater. So if you've just had Plater for a long time, I'm pretty sure it is, and just gotten used to clicking nameplates like you do normally with Plater, yeah, that clicking, like that way of clicking is gone. You have to be aim labs exact center to click a nameplate in Midnight right now. Adding this functionality in the nameplates, even making it not adjustable by players, but adding this aura of clicking into nameplates would be phenomenal for Blizzard nameplates. Like for example, and like for multi-dotting, this is needed. Like for example, this nameplate right here. See how it's like, see how they're glowing? If I click right now, it's gonna select this nameplate, like right here, right? Like click, there it is. Watch when I move my mouse a bit here. This one's highlighted right about there. If I click now, it's gonna select this. Now obviously, yeah, a bit of give and take here, but like with Blizzard default nameplates, you have to be right here, or right here, or like right here, or right here. And when they're doing the cha-cha slide, when I'm in plus with 20 mobs, I can't even click them to begin with, man. Like it's like, and obviously Blizz will fix this, but even with like them being pretty static in position, when I'm trying to multi-dot 10 things at once, there's mechanics going out, I'm jumping and doing other spells and trying to stun things and kick and silent and all this stuff. I wanted to be able to like click a general vicinity and target that mob, right? So having this like aura of being able to click like right here is gonna target this. See, click, done, click, done. Click, done. This is so important for dot-based classes. It's so important. We know that tab targeting hasn't worked in like 8 years. It just does random things. This is so important to have. And this functionality, I really pray makes it into baseline WoW. But even if it doesn't, Plater functionality for this still works. And I don't think it's gonna be broken. I don't think it's part of like they're hiding certain things. This should be fine. And just to show in combat, it still works as well. I'm in combat, but still, I can still change nameplates with ease in combat, right? So that functionality is really, really needed when it comes to Blizzard nameplates and just in general. So if Plater finds some way to track debuffs or just uses default Blizzard tracking, that'd be sick. That's there. And that's actually a huge plus. Seeing Plater working with these nameplates, even to that extent. So there's Plater. Platynator is, I think, made by the author of Baganator and things. Not totally sure, but look at it here. So Platynator is more like it's more simplistic compared to Plater. This is the default skin. You can change it as well, I'm sure. You can customize it however you want within reason. Plate. Nator. Typing that. What's this thing called? Platynator, like a platypus. Got it. Platynator. There we go. Here's the customization here. Way more bare bones than Plater, but honestly, Plater is, I would, a bit overkill for the majority of players for what customization offers, right? Now, you can choose a handful of different styles here. They have Beaver, Blizzard. Here's Beaver skin. There you go. Here's Blizzard skin. There's Blizzard Classic. Looks crazy. Hedgehog, Squirrel, and Rabbit. Cool. There you go. If you want these, whatever. I just use Blizzard. It's fine. But you can customize them as well. And this is actually really cool, and a functionality I think will be really, like, it will hit home with a lot of players. Designer. If you want to change a nameplate, like if you want to move things around, you can do it right here. Like, for example, see how this nameplate's right here with this text above it here? If I want my text to be in the middle of the nameplate, drag it down. Obviously, it's a bit large, needs to be, tweaked and tuned a bit. You can scale it down to whatever. But if you want to move the text over here, I don't know why you would, but you can do it right there. There's no like finding X, Y axis, digging through pages of information like you have in Plater, which, don't get me wrong, that functionality in Plater is very nice as well if you're looking for that. If you're looking for simplistic stuff, Platynator looks pretty good. If you want to move like debuff spring display, which to be fair, this is buggy as well with same as like Plater with like it doesn't display it at all because it's like not being shown by Blizzard. You can do that. If you want to move like CC crowd control areas from like being over here to here for some reason, you can do that. If you want to move whatever this is, auras, buffs, you want to move like a quest icon over here, you can put it here. If you want this mob to be marked like right here, you can do that. Move marks over here. If you want to move the cast bar of the mob, you can put it over here. If you want to move the name of the ability, you can put it over here. This is so simple to customize. It's really, really cool for people that just want to say, hey, I need a nameplate add-on, but I don't want to like have Plater excessiveness, right? This is pretty cool. I'm not going to save this because it's a mess, but it's fine. Very, very cool, right? At the same time, you can adjust like behavior in here for like friendly enemy style stuff, font stuff, but it's very bare bones in a good way. So Platynator is an option. Plater is an option, but if I'm using Platynator right now and I go to data mob, doesn't show. So I don't know. I assume if I leave combat here, it'll probably show. I'm not even sure. So I don't know how dot tracking is going to end up on nameplates. I just don't know. I'm not really sure. It doesn't even show over here either way. I'm not really sure. Maybe I configured it wrong. I don't think I did, but either way, dot tracking is the big question when it comes to like Platynator and Plater and things right now. With the default Blizz UI, dot tracking looks fine. I'd like to add a pandemic glow to dots. So when they get low, when they get low in duration, it's glowing, hey, refresh me. Not an option currently. Hopefully it is at some point, but there's that. I don't know. But yeah, this functionality here of seeing this in combat with Plater and Platynator currently is not an option. It cannot track this. Only Blizzard in-game nameplates can track this. So if Plater or Platynator can find some way to use whatever skins and things they have of their own like little settings, like tweaking and tuning, but then display the default Blizzard dot and aura, that's great. I have no idea if it's possible. Not really sure, but wanted to give an update on nameplates. There's still a decent bit of customization left in them, but there's some things that you can only use for Blizz nameplates, some things only Plater can do. I think right now, if Plater was able to I'm basically at a spot where like I want Plater's like aura click functionality, like we talked about. Like if I'm clicking right here, won't select this nameplate. I have to be like right here. Click. That'll do it. When they're all leaping and jumping and doing this in combat, man, I can't click these things. There's no chance. There's no. I mean, it's a pain. I tried to click this, and this right there. It didn't click any of them. It didn't even move from this. It's like having that aura radius around it to click and change targets that Plater has. It's really good. If Blitz can put that in game, and obviously fix the jumping and stuff here, these are probably pretty close to being usable. Like good, right? At the same time, if Plater can find some way to display Blizzard default dot duration, which needs to happen, obviously. If they can do that, then Plater is basically done. The jumping of nameplates here is a Blizz thing. They got to fix them, I understand. This cannot be fixed by anything but Blizz. this weird jumping of stuff. And I pray to God they can, because why is this mob right here? This mob. Why is this mob not this or this? Why is this mob this? Why is this mob? I don't know, you know. But that's a hopefully fixed soon kind of thing. We'll see where it goes. But yeah, that's the update on, well, basically lock stuff and nameplates. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Not much on alpha this week for Warlock. We can do things at 90 now. I got a level to 90, but I mean, there's not a whole lot of alpha invites out right now. So I've tried to queue dungeons, but not enough people are on playing and all that. We've done them all. Your follower, like we've done all the follower runs, which is cool. Cool dungeons and all that. But unfortunately, Dark Lair extensions for Warlock aren't working. Still for UA and stuff. And also as far as like curse functionality goes, they broke the curse macros last week we talked about. So we have to just, I don't know, click packs or whatever and know that your one button for weakness is also tongues and exhaustion. Couldn't tell you. I'm not editing that out. It's 2 in the morning. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like and sub below. It helps out a ton. Also, a massive thank you to my supporters on Patreon for all support, guys. Thank y'all a million times. Like always, I greatly appreciate all support. Without y'all being around, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. And yeah, so thank y'all a million times. Like we said, Alpha is going to beta soon. I don't know if it's going to be like strictly week 5 of Alpha ends and next week is beta with all the epic pre-order editions getting beta right off the bat, or if it's like a week or 2 of Alpha still with like some add-on tweaking and tuning. I wouldn't be surprised if Blizz waits, like, I know it's the last scheduled week of Alpha right now in the timeline. I wouldn't be surprised if they wait another week or 2 to be like, all right, we're fixing nameplates, we're fixing the damage meter, because that's not working yet either. We're going to implement raid frames we talked about. The raid frames they put a post about out last week, and then we're going to push the beta for the player base to test it. I've been in alphas before, and I'm totally used to things not being functional and all that. I totally get it, and even when it comes to betas, getting access to that, it's a privilege, right? Even though if you bought it. My point being, things don't always work, but I would assume with like having the ability to essentially pre-order beta, they might want it in a bit more of a functional state for a couple things. Look at the spider, it's glowing. Jeez. But yeah, we'll see where it goes. But thanks for watching, guys. And yeah, we'll find out at the same time. Tune into the streams this weekend. We're doing some Halloween stuff. So thanks for watching, guys. GG, GN, stay hard. Say goodbye to the dog. And I'll see you later. Peace.